The biggest advantage you have is being with RE/MAX Unlimited, being with the RE/MAX system. You've got access to the RE/MAX University, and if you haven't looked at the catalog lately, great stuff. You not only have it with the satellite, so you can come to the office, you can have it at home, but that's why we have monitors. We have 2 conference rooms with monitors that you can reserve. In fact, I know Karen Plegeman is taking the ABR course, satellite, yesterday and today. Ann Wagner, where is she? I just saw her. Susan Collier. They both just completed the ABR via the satellite. So you can acquire a designation, and you never have to go anywhere other than your office or your home. And not only that, but what I saw when Ann and Susan got done, they were excited. They were helping one another, they were sharing ideas, and they were looking to see what they could do to use the stuff they learned in the course to implement into their business. That's the key, is taking the time and implementing. So take advantage of the RE/MAX satellite network. Not only that, there is agent training on demand. You can take it from your computer. I've done it myself. I've logged onto the website. I've looked to see what's there. There may be 5-minute, 10-minute segments. It's not a lot of time, so it's not like, oh gosh, I have to set aside my whole day. You know, in 5-10 minutes, I can gain a lot of stuff. The most important thing is I do something with it, not just let it sit there. Look at the courses that are offered through the Cincinnati Board, and of course we have periodically workshops here at the office. Knowledge is confidence. Confidence is trust. Trust is a sale. It's so important to get the knowledge part of it down. The second part of the knowledge and sharpening the saw is become the local economist. We've been providing you these charts for, what, 1.5 years now? It's so important to give that information to your clients. First of all, if you don't understand it, I'd be happy to sit down with you and give you verbiage to use with your client to present it, because your clients want the information. It's also important because, as I was at Maple Knoll the other day and the gentleman in the room was saying 10-year supply, I said, I've got great news for you. We don't even have anywhere near a 10-year supply. And in some respects, that was a huge positive, because when you say 10 months, it's like, oh, well, that's nothing. You just might not tell them that balanced market is 5 to 6, which, you know, puts another spin on it. But my point being is that if I didn't know that information, I might have said, really? Wow, that's not good. But I know better. I know because we look at those numbers, we create the numbers. So become the local economist. Become familiar with the charts that we provide. Provide them to your clients. And when you do listing presentations, make sure you get the numbers down far enough to their market so it relates directly to them, because the market is there. Next, what are you going to do proactively? Prospect. Prospect proactively. That means continual. Keep the radar up. You ought to be scheduling 1 hour a day. What's an hour? 1 hour a day to prospect. Remember last month I talked about the KISS principle? That's prospecting. So 1 hour a day, you do your KISS principle. I talked to Laura yesterday. You're making the phone calls. You enjoying the phone calls?
I am.
She's loving the phone calls. Dave McDonald told me he made some phone calls and he said, Karen, they were thrilled to death. You're making more phone calls, aren't you? You've had a couple lunches, haven't you? Yeah? So he's working his group. Prospect proactively. Where there's no gardener, there's no garden. So you have to be continually looking for business. Next, you want to put first things first. That's actually the title of a little book that I read every day. It's a daily read book. It was written by Stephen Covey along with a couple of other things. Now, people who have seen my book said, gee, I guess you've had that for a while. You know, it's got the dog ear. It even has a little mold on it because I guess it got wet at one point and there's been some mold growing on it. The pages are paper clipped, they're earmarked, but one of the things that I love about it is that it helps me first thing every day to put first things first, to get me focused into the office, focused in what I'm going to do that day. And one of the quotes out of that book is, what does it matter how much we do if what we're doing isn't what matters most? And again, I go back to that. We all do lots of things. We're busy, 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 but are we doing things that are really accomplishing what we need to accomplish? So it's important that we put first things first. If that means you need to hire an assistant, hire an assistant. That's what Angie Hawk is here for. If you need somebody to do flyers, let her do the flyers so you can have the time to prospect. So learn to delegate the right things, learn to schedule, respect your own schedule. And that's one of the hardest things I've had a tough time with, is scheduling time for me. I schedule everybody else, and then I don't go, hey Karen, you need to schedule some time to get the things done that you need to do. And that's why I end up taking stuff home sometimes, because it's like, oops, my day got away from me and I still have to have this done. So scheduling, planning your week, reviewing your goals will help you put first things first. The next thing is think win-win. Dave McDonald recently shared with me something that I just absolutely loved. It is a new word. Dave, would you like to share what the word is?
Co-opetition.
Co-opetition. To me, it's a new word for win-win. Co-opetition is a word. It's actually what they call, and this is, I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, neologism. A neologism is a word that is not in the dictionary, but is used in a certain community like real estate. But co-opetition is not necessarily just for the real estate industry. But what it describes is cooperative competition. And there is no doubt we are a competitive business. As much as agents don't like to think about it, we're all competitors sitting in this room. You're all competing for listings and buyers every day. Because what we do think about are the competitors that are, quote, in other office buildings with other names on the roof. But we're all in this together. We all have to think of it as win-win, and co-opetition, I think, is something we need to keep in mind when we're transacting business. Particularly when we're going into negotiations. Not being cooperative can be a real downfall. And in this market, no doubt, there are some edgy people. Have you met some of those people lately? Yeah, me too. So it's important that we think win-win when we're doing transactions. Which leads me to the next point of the importance of being the calm in the storm. We have to be the ones that remain pretty much unemotional, neutral. This is business. I'm conveying what my client wants me to convey. It's not about what I think is right or wrong. It's what my client wants. And what my client wants comes first. My job is to make sure my client knows all of the options, but it's important that I convey, and I convey it calmly, not with a lot of emotion, because the emotion certainly mucks up the system too many times.